If you've been paying attention to disclosure, you've probably felt this frustration. We got the acknowledgement. We got a few videos, the hearings, the admissions that something is really there. But the advanced technology, the propulsion, the energy, the material science that everyone assumed would come with it. Nothing. Silence. And a lot of people are starting to ask, is this it? Is this all we get? But there's another way to look at it. Maybe the tech isn't being hidden forever. Maybe it's being held until the right people are in position to own it. Because if you look at history, this isn't a new strategy. It's actually a pretty familiar pattern. In the 1400s, China had the most advanced navy on Earth, decades of anything that Europe had. They could have owned the age of exploration. Then a new emperor and a rival court faction who were worried about cost and worried about the power the fleet gave to the people running it, banned ocean-going ships completely. The fleet was left to rot. It wasn't that the technology didn't work. It was that the people in charge decided who got to control it mattered than whether their country got to benefit from it. We can jump forward 500 years. Napster shows up. File sharing threatens the entire music industry's business model. The label's first move? Lawsuits. Crush it. Delay it as long as possible. But once streaming became inevitable, once there was no putting that genie back in the bottle, the same labels didn't just step aside and let outsiders own the future. Several of them took direct equity stakes in Spotify before it even went public. They didn't stop the transition. They just made sure that when it happened, they'd own a piece of what came next. And then there's tobacco. Decades of denying, burying, and discrediting their own internal research. But once the old model became legally and socially unsustainable, tobacco companies didn't disappear. Altria bought a $13 billion stake in Juul. They didn't abandon the business. They positioned themselves to own the next version of it. So notice what's not the deciding factor in any of these stories. It's never, does this actually help people? It's never even, does the technology work? It's always, who gets to control the transition? So when people ask why disclosure has stalled at, yes, it's real, but hasn't yet moved on to, and here's how it works, that doesn't necessarily mean there's nothing there. Maybe it's evidence of timing. The same people who spent decades putting a lid on it may simply be waiting until they're the ones positioned to profit. History doesn't repeat itself, but it sure does rhyme.